How you doing today? We're going to talk today about about chiropractic and the multiverse. Let's see, where is this at? Can you say multiverse? Multiverse.
Multiverse. Multiverse.
Thank you. He speaks Japanese too. Kawasaki.
Kawasaki. Kawasaki.
See? Okay. So, when you look at one of these Marvel movies and they've got the multiverse, like Spider-Man, and there's all these different Earths, and all these different Spider-Men are different. Some look like cartoons, some are older, some are younger, what have you. These are different life trajectories. And the reason I bring this up, not to sound like a Marvel movie or anything, but because what you do determines what you will do next and what kind of person you will be as a result of that. So let's say we have three of you, and these three are starting off doing the same things. They went to high school. They got some kind of low-level job. They did it for a while, and then they got to thinking, hey, I might go become something greater than this. So then they went off to school, and then one of them hurt his back, and the other two are going along similar to each other, but this one hurt his back doing some kind of something, and he was really in a lot of pain. And after a while, it calmed down, but then it would come back again, and then it would calm down and be gone, and then it would come back again. And he found that, man, this is just too hard on me to go to school. I'm going to have to drop out of here and go do something. And then, so these other two are going to college, and this one to become something, that going to turn a good buck and take care of their families that they might one day have. And this one over here, he hurts a lot, so he stays home a lot, and he decides he's going to do some kind of job that he can work from home. And he's sitting there on his computer day in and day out, and he's watching TV, hours a day, and he's not really going anywhere, because when he goes somewhere, he pisses off his back, and then he doesn't feel so swift. So perhaps he would have had a dog, but walking the dog might see a squirrel or a cat and go, bonk, and then now his back is hurting for the next couple of days. So he never decided to get any dog, where perhaps these other two guys that are that are going off to college and stuff, they've graduated, they're making some nice money doing some kind of something or rather that took that degree to get them there. One of them has a big-ass dog, and the other one's got some little dog, and they're going about their life. They're playing with their dog. This one over here, though, he's still kind of just laying around the house and doing some kind of work that makes some kind of buck, but he could have made a lot more had he continued in that other direction those other two guys did. Maybe it was in the cards for that guy to have met this really hot babe to become his wife, and he was going to meet her at the gym, but he never goes to a gym. Meanwhile, those two guys, it was their lot in life too, that they were going to meet some hot girl at the gym, and that was going to be their wife, and they were going to be so happy to have such a wonderful wife and stuff, and they were going to have families and what have you. So these guys are doing that. One of them decides to go to the gym, and wow, he met this girl. How cool is that? And he's having this wonderful life and got a couple kids after a while. He's got a successful career. He's just living a life of joy, going off on nice vacations once in a while. But this other guy, so there's three of them. Guy number three, he never really went to the gym much because he was making plenty of money, but he kind of liked to eat, and then he'd eat, and then he'd eat stuff that made him feel a little bit drowsy and stuff, and like, I don't really want to do stuff. So he never went to a gym. So guy number one's got this back pain, and he doesn't do a lot of stuff. Guy number two has got this hot babe wife, and he's got these nice kids, and he's off jet skiing and whatever he wants to do on his vacations. And the other guy, he's making good money, but he's kind of sitting around, and he's getting porked out over time because he's eating this great food that he can afford because he's making this great income. So this is the same person who might have taken this life choice or that life choice, and it impacted the rest of his life. And then he made some other life choices based on that life's choice, and it further impacted his life. So guy number one, he dropped out of school. So a certain direction he would have went in is no longer available to him, and he went in a different direction. His back is hurting frequently, so he never bothered to get a dog. So the dog might have provided him great comfort since he's alone in his house. He never has the opportunity to meet people, and perhaps would have met somebody nice to become his wife or something. He might find over time that what used to be a once in a while back pain, it would come every 3 months or so, and it would hurt like hell, and he'd be just absolutely miserable. And then it would be that he'd wake up one day and it wasn't there, and he'd say, "My back went out last week, but I'm okay now." And so he's thinking because he doesn't hurt that he's okay. But he really doesn't feel like doing a lot of stuff, and he's kind of feeling sorry for himself a lot. And about 3 months later, oh, there it is again. Oh, geez. And it hurts for a while, and he's just in an awful way. And then he wakes up one day and it's gone. And then he once again says, "My back went out last week, but I'm okay now." And it's like, dude, you're clearly not okay, or this wouldn't keep coming back to bite you. And what used to be once every 3 months over time becomes once every couple months, or once every 6 weeks, or once a month, or it seems like more often than not, this is really killing me. So he doesn't really go out and do a hell of a lot of anything because it just hurts all the time. This guy over here is having the time of his life. This guy over here is who he could have been. This one over here, well, he's doing okay financially, but he's missing a lot of opportunities, and he might have married somebody that would tolerate him as opposed to I pick and choose what is the best choice for me. It might be, thank God somebody has paid attention to me in the condition I'm letting myself get in over here. So you can see that one person can make choices that affect the rest of their lives. Just like a person can be just fine and going down the road and getting an auto accident, and now they're in a wheelchair the rest of their life. That 1 second changed the course of their life forever. Well, in chiropractic care, there are pain relief chiropractors and there are corrective care chiropractors. About half the chiropractors in the United States are pain relief chiropractors. You probably have a buddy out there somewhere who goes to a chiropractor once in a while, maybe for half a dozen times or a dozen times, and then he says, "Doc, I'm feeling great." And then the doc says, "Okay, Jack, come back and see me when you need me." And then he goes away, and he's some weeks or months down the road, there it is again. And he goes back to see his chiropractor. "Hey, Jack, get on the table. I'll take care of you." And then he sees him a half a dozen times. And then one day Jack says, "Hey, I'm feeling great." And he says, "Okay, come back and see me when you need me." And then, 3 months later, same thing. And then he's back in there again. And this is what a pain relief chiropractor does. Most people go to a chiropractor because they hurt like hell, and they want to find some way to make it stop hurting. The reason they should be going to the chiropractor is they should say, "Doc, I hurt like hell, so clearly something is wrong. Can you find out what is wrong?" And we get that thing corrected as best we can. So as a byproduct of that thing working more properly again, I don't feel like this anymore. So that is what a corrective care doc does. About half the chiropractors in the country are corrective care docs, like myself. A corrective care doc says, "Hey, we need to find out what is going on there and get that rehabilitated." And when this is done, in many, if not most cases, years go by and the person has completely and entirely forgot what it felt like to feel like that, because they haven't felt like that in 5 years or something. Whereas a pain relief doc, he takes care of you for a little while, and then you're feeling pretty good, and you got this false sense of security that, okay, I'm okay now. But it's like, no, you're not okay, because it keeps coming back to bite you. An okay person would mean it never comes back to bite me ever again. So if you're a person who's trying to avoid pain, what you commonly see going on around you is, I'll buy a sleep number bed. I'll eat this muscle relaxer, and then my muscles won't be tight, and that'll solve it. And it's like, no, it didn't solve it. It solved how you felt as a result of it. But something was making your muscles get tight, and that something is what needs to be addressed. But you might drink a bottle of Jack Daniels. You might smoke medical marijuana. You might rub CBD oil on yourself. You might get a massage. You might get some acupuncture where they poke holes in your nerves and then your nerves don't work right. So if your nerve is supposed to be communicating pain because something is wrong in that area, then it doesn't communicate pain for a little while until that area where the hole is poked in the nerve heals up, and then the nerve works properly again. And sadly, a properly working nerve is going to inform your brain if something is wrong, so then it hurts again, and then you say, oh, it's time for my next session, and you poke another hole in your nerve for a little while. So this is how people handle stuff. All these different ways that I just mentioned, and other ways besides that, pain pills, ibuprofen, what have you. And all of these things address how I feel as a result of having something wrong with me. None of them address what the hell is wrong with me. So this is what we get trained because of, for decades, this is what the MDs have pushed upon America. If you're hurt, you eat a drug. Well, that didn't fix anything. And that's why a heck of a lot of older people are really screwed up. They're part of this multiverse of deviating from the path that they were meant to go down. And because they hurt like hell, maybe they became out of shape. Maybe they became overweight. Maybe they are depressed where they were generally a happy person with a light in their eyes. I can do anything. Before that happened to them, and now they're a shit, I can't do anything person. Yeah, that would suck.
It would suck. It would suck.
Yeah. Don't let that happen to you because you have a choice. You know, you can choose which of these paths you go down. You can choose to not do anything and keep eating a pill, and hopefully it will quit hurting for a little bit. And then when it comes back later, you eat another pill. Or you can make an awful choice, like to go have some surgery done on something. And if you do that, you could find yourself, number one, it didn't do any good. Which is awful. Now I've been butchered and it didn't do any good. Or you could find maybe this helped me. Or you could find now I have new complications as a result of this. They did a surgery on my back and now I got this numb spot on my leg. I could stick it with a knife and I wouldn't even feel it. Or my stuff don't do this anymore. Or what have you. There are awful side effects from many surgeries. I'm not going to get into them right now. I'll leave that for another time. But we'll just say, let's say you're this wide and they're going to cut into your back to do a surgery. They're going to cut through half of this. So they're going to cut through muscles going over muscles. They're going to cut through skin. They're going to cut through all kind of different tissues. And they're going to get in there to your spine. And they're going to hack on this stuff. And hopefully it will give you some kind of a relief. But what kind of relief do people generally get when they do this? Well, it's about a 50-50 thing. About 50% of them seem to feel like they were better as a result of this, but 50% of them do not. And now, not only do I still feel as crappy as I did before, but I might feel even more crappy because I got all this healing to do from these scalpels cutting halfway through my body, perhaps going a foot into some people's body. And they didn't solve my situation because they operated on the wrong segment. It was actually a segment above it that was giving me that pain. I might have shelled out $20,000 to have the damn surgery. It's like, wow, I could have had a car for that, you know? So some people will say, oh, I'm not worried about it. If it gets too much, I've got insurance. Insurance is not your friend. Insurance is a group of bureaucrats, stuffed shirts that try to spend the minimum amount of money on somebody's care. You may be given a sales pitch about how we do all this beautiful stuff for you, and we have chiropractors on our staffs, and we have this and we have that. And you make this hefty monthly payment, and then you go in there because you're hurting, and they give you the least possible amount of care. These bureaucrats limit how many visits you can go see that doctor for. They limit what is that doctor able to do on you, maybe so many sessions. Maybe they give you 12 chiropractic sessions in a year. Well, gee, that's nice, but what if you needed 24 or 36 or 48? SOL. They say it's not medically necessary. Based on what? Because those guys aren't doctors. Now, they may hire some doctors, but these doctors will say whatever the insurance company wants to say because they get their check every week from the insurance company. What are they going to do? They're going to say, disagree with the people who feed them? Bite the hand that feeds them? They probably are not going to do that. So if it's been an auto accident that you've been in or something, only a fool would represent himself in court. There's some kind of saying like that. Only a fool is his own lawyer in court. Only a fool would represent himself with an insurance company. Get yourself a lawyer if that's the case, because that person will fight to get you the most possible amount. I do auto accidents, so if you've been in any accident, come and see me. And I will take excellent care of you, because I don't know how to take less than excellent care of somebody. Because that's always been a stickler in my life. It's like, if you're going to do something, do it right. And if you're going to do something right, why not try to be the best you can possibly be? And in my case, I look at all of you guys as, I can't conceive of not giving you my best. On my worst day, you get my best. There's a lot of chiropractors out there that if you were to have the nerve to ask them, are you any good? You might get an answer like, yeah, I think I'm okay. I try hard. I think I'll be able to help you. You come in here, it's like, yeah, I'm excellent. Do you think a person who wasn't excellent would make such a statement? Probably not. And why would I be excellent? Because I've always tried to do my best. For 21 years now, I've always tried to do my best. I go off and I learn a lot of different stuff that your average chiropractor will not. I'm turn around a lot of the money that I make back into the office and buy stuff that would help people like spinal decompression or lasers or other modalities, whereas some other docs may have none of that stuff. We're rather personable in here too. We have a good time, as you can see. All right. So back to the multiverse. If you were this person who had this back pain and maybe you dropped out of school because it hurt too much to sit in those desk chair contraptions or whatever you had at your school, and it hurt too much to be under that stress of, I got to pass all these tests and stuff. Oh my God, there's finals coming next week. And your life went off on this alternate path. Well, maybe you can take care of what's wrong with your back or your neck or your knee or your wrist or wherever you are having this grief at. And there's a very, very good likelihood that we can make that better. And what do I mean when I say make that better? Get it working right so that it heals up. So as a byproduct of the thing working right again, it doesn't hurt like that anymore. Are there going to be some people that they're beyond help? I'm not going to be able to help them. Yeah, sure. But it's a pretty darn low number. At least 19 out of 20 people that see me get exactly what they hope for. And then once in a while, there's somebody that no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to help them. But it's reasonable to think that you're one of those 19 out of 20, at least in this office. Now, if you go to a less than capable chiropractor's office, I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I'm highly capable in here. And I get a lot of great results. So you're off on this multiverse thing. You're hurting like hell. You dropped out of school. You're leading this alternative existence that isn't really what you had thought you might have in this life. And you get that stuff rehabilitated so it's feeling good again. You might be the guy that goes back to school in his 30s and tries to, I got to do better than I've been doing. And then maybe graduate like I did when you're 40. And then all of a sudden, your life is very different. Something to think about, okay? We're offering people a consultation, examine you 4 different ways, 2 ways that are computerized, quick, very accurate, don't hurt at all. I check you out by eyeball to see if there's something unusual going on with you, and I take a picture of it with my phone if I see it, like maybe you're neck is sticking out like that, or some other unusual thing. You're walking a little cockeyed. And I'll take a picture of that with the phone and go over that with you. I check you out by hand looking for malfunctioning joints that aren't working as intended. I check you out by x-ray to look for what structural damage is causing those joints to malfunction. And we put together a plan to get you shipshape. There are people out there who will bash plans because they have gone to pain relief chiropractors before, and they say to themselves, or they say to their friends even, oh, I could just see Dr. Smith 3 or 4 times and I'm fine. Why the hell should I go see that guy for several visits on his plan? That guy's trying to rip me off or something. Well, I want you to think about it the way you think about your sit-ups or something. If you join a gym because you're feeling, I'm getting kind of overweight or whatever, and it's January 1st and it's your New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get rid of this stuff. And you go once or twice, and then you're kind of sore because you haven't worked out before or haven't worked out in a long time, and you're like, oh, this hurts like hell. A couple of days later, it doesn't hurt anymore, but maybe you don't go back to the gym, and you're making payments on it anyway because you signed some contract for the gym, and you're paying every month. And I don't know, maybe around May, you're saying to yourself, man, I'm making these payments every month, and I never go. I'm going to go to the gym again, and you go back in there, and you go once or twice, maybe you go 2 weeks in a row and you pat yourself on the back and you tell everybody how I'm transforming. But you didn't really do a hell of a lot. And then for some reason you don't get back in there. 3 or 4 months go by, and then you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh shit, I'm getting fatter. And then you say, okay, I'm going to go back to the gym. And so you only go once in a blue moon when you feel like you're porking out. You're not going to do anything. But if you go there and you're working out 3 days a week, I'm doing my sit-ups 3 days a week, week after week after week after week, my gut is going to look a lot different than if I just went in once in a blue moon when I felt porked out. So there are people out there that will bash a treatment plan. They'll say, why the hell are you going over all this time? You should just be going till you feel better. Well, that's pretty much guaranteeing you that you're going to have arthritis in those joints. And as an old person, you're going to be considerably limited as to what you can do. When you come in here, after I check you out like that, and I do a test adjustment to see how well you would do with what I do, then we make a determination and put the plan together for you. This is how often you should come. This is what I'm going to do each time you come, and this is why I'm going to do it. And it's over this period of time, and this is how often you come, and then it'll be less often, and then it'll be less often. And near the end of this plan, we should find that we have rehabilitated that stuff if you've done what I told you. And I will give you guys a class in how to not undo what I'm doing to help you near the beginning of your treatment so that you maximize your benefit out of your adjustments instead of going like this and I just threw my low back adjustment out. Okay, so this is some stuff you want to think about when you go to see a chiropractor. Are you going to go to see somebody that hopes he will help you, or you're going to go to somebody who's going to bend over backwards and do his damnedest to help you? And that's who I am. Thank you for your time.